Carolina, we're here at Chapter Arts in Cardiff looking at one of your installations for the Artis Mundi exhibition. Can you tell us how you selected the works for this show?
Yeah, there's a range of work that runs between 2014 and 2023. I wanted to choose a wide range of works. Most of them are in Oriel Davies Gallery in Newton, but I wanted to offer the Welsh public a kind of a breadth of my work so they could see the different materials, the different subject matters, the different way I approach the themes of environmental justice, feminine and feminist genealogies.
And you're typically not somebody who wants to be constrained by small frames in a gallery. You've got a rather wonderful frame behind you. Can you tell us about this work?
This particular work gives a turn to actually that series because it's showing what happens to a river when it's undammed. While the previous iterations of the work were focusing on the affectation of damming and kind of the way the river changes, the way the riverbed has to be dried to erect a dam, this one is actually following the healing and the repair of a river after two very old dams come down. So it remixes and collages satellite imagery from before the dams come down all the way to like after 10 years of undamming of the river. And it's the River Elwha in the Pacific Northwest. The title, which is This Land is a Poem of a River Healing, is a paraphrase of a poem by Joy Harjo. Her poem talks about the possibilities of nature healing. You know, we just need to help her a little bit and she can find her body again.
A lot of your work comes from being very embedded in communities and understanding how the infrastructure, major infrastructure like dams, is impacting on their lives and the ecology. Is it hard to convey some of those complex narratives in one space?
I think we do a good job in Oriel Davies because we get that theme which is complex and kind of flesh it out in many ways. So we focus on rituals of paying back, you know, of offerings. We focus on the different perspectives humanity has had over rivers, you know, from a more indigenous perspective to a peasant or campesino one, to an industrial extractive perspective. There's also a nod to women who are leading environmental processes and environmental justice struggles across the world.
I believe there's a reference even to a local group of women activists who are
Right,
active in
and
Greenham.
so exactly, and so we had a chance to loan 4 banners of the Greenham Commons women group. They are portrayed in one of my own work, and when I knew I was going to show in Wales, I thought that would be a good way to offer, you know, kind of entry point for the local audiences to then understand and be able to read that other themes in my work. So I think that's why for me it was important to bring all like this variety of work at Oriel Davies. There's one particular work that is done in collaboration with the Nez Perce tribe in Idaho. They're actually struggling right now to undam the Snake River. So that's maybe one of the works that closely, you know, there's a close collaboration with a community, an indigenous community in the United States, the Nez Perce tribe. And so it talks about salmon, and I know salmon is quite an important relative and species here too. So, you know, I try to make a selection of works that could resonate locally.
Sure, but you've not had a chance to spend time with the Cardiff community.
No, unfortunately not, but hopefully, you know, there are struggles that are connected worldwide, no? And I think hopefully my work becomes a bridge between these struggles, you know, between the Welsh struggles, between the struggles of the Nez Perce, between the struggles we have in Colombia. I think part of the strategy of extraction is to separate us, no? And so I'm trying to do work that actually, where we can recognize each other in our own struggles, you know, in those shared struggles. So that's kind of one of the intentions of the work we're showing.
The Artis Mundi Prize has always foregrounded international artists, but also artists working across the borders of activism. It's interesting that we've now come to a time where I've seen your work quite recently in the Baltic and Gateshead and also in Serpentine, that more mainstream galleries are showcasing this work. Do you feel that this signifies either a change in perspective in the mainstream or an escalation of concern across cultural institutions? Is this a good thing, or is this virtue signalling in a slightly token way? I know you've spoken very eloquently about this before.
I think both ways. I'm a true believer that Artes Mundi, and the record it has is to bring together very politically conscious artists, as a short list. So, and the roster of artists that we are at Artes Mundi 10, we are all very politically conscious in one way or another. These themes hit in the mainstream. I think you have to take it with a grain of salt. I am very careful of the invitations I receive and where I decide to show or not. There's a lot of lip service, of course, in all the cultural world, and the art world is known for having these turns, and we certainly are in kind of an environmental turn right now. And there's a lot of greenwashing in the art world too, so that's something to pay attention to.
But do you feel optimistic or
yeah,
cautiously pessimistic?
I'm always optimistic, for sure. I'm always optimistic, though it's hard to be optimistic today.